Hey, you guys, it's Bobby, and today I am here with three amazing people. It was two, but I luckily brought in a third. I'm here with Chris Butler, author and artist of the Healing Light Tarot, Healing Light Lenormand, Quantum Tarot, Sun Tarot, all of my favorite decks. And we have Ramon Santiago, Moon Scarab,
Hello.
one of the best channels on YouTube. I dig Ramon so much. And my third guest, Ken Payne,
Hello.
creator of the Oracle of the Hekatean Path, one of my staple favorite decks of all time. You guys don't understand. The three of you are very important to me. Okay, Chris, during lockdown, your videos revived my love of tarot. Ramon, watching your videos has inspired me to great production values and in-depth research. Ken, your devotional deck is just a tool that has blessed this planet. I cannot tell you enough how much this deck means to so many people. It's allowed me to to share who Hecate is with other people and answer their questions better. Today we're going to be focusing on the Healing Light deck.
One of my favorite decks, and I have to say, I am so excited to be sharing a live with Chris. Chris, I'm a total fan.
This is great fun because
I've actually Quantum Tarot, which I love.
I'll tell you some funny stories about that.
I'm looking for the 1.0.
But the 1.0. Hang on.
Of course, this one with Ken as well.
That one.
Yeah. Yes, that one. I had the Healing Light. And I like it so much that I have two.
I'm the same
with the Lenormand. I love this Lenormand. It's like one of my favorite ones.
Find somebody who is as OCD as me, because it's like if I find a deck that I really like, I end up buying a copy and then thinking, right, I want a working copy and I want a mint copy as well.
Yeah, backup copy. You never know.
Comic books.
Judgment Day, Zombie Apocalypse. You want that extra copy?
I know.
I've often thought of things that I would pack in a hurry if a zombie apocalypse happened, and one of the things is my tarot deck, definitely.
Yes.
It's funny though, isn't it? Because when you think, I mean, I was thinking that a couple of weeks ago, and you sort of think about what you would grab if there was an emergency and you had to evacuate the house. And I realized that actually, if my house was about to burn down, one of the things that I would grab would be at least one of my tarot decks, because, I kind of couldn't live without it,
Yes.
It would probably have to be my Waite Smith that my dad bought me this one. So if the house was about to burn down, once I'd evacuated me and my mum, I would have to grab that, I think. So, yeah.
You need an emergency bag by the door with your tarot deck and essentials ready to go.
Exactly. Yeah. Not that I want my house to burn down in a hurry.
Right, but you never know.
You need this deck as a source of income should something happen.
Yes.
That's why I would grab my tarot deck. I would always have a way of doing things. Let's take a second to say hi to who's here.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Miss Tarot D. I love Miss Tarot D.
Hi, Miss Tarot D.
Hi.
Sherry.
Hello.
We've got Free Spirit. Maru's here. What's up, Maru?
Miss Maruta.
It's lovely to see everyone. Wow.
Did some shenanigans. I like that name. Oh, Amanda's here. Hey, girl, what's up? I really love you guys. all of you who tune in and share in the community. It's just a great thing. And I really appreciate everybody. I've just been feeling very grateful lately, you know. Oh wow, we got a bunch of people, huh?
Okay. Really tight, isn't it?
Lottie. Okay, so today, you guys, we're doing the Healing Light Tarot. Chris, when you started the Healing Light Tarot, what was your intention with that deck?
It started out by accident. I got approached in 2014 by an old university friend who was looking for an illustrator for a tarot deck that she'd been planning. And we started work and it just didn't gel. And ironically, I was trying to hand draw the deck and hand paint it. And it wasn't working. You know, we kind of, what I was creating wasn't meeting her expectations. I was finding it difficult to understand what she wanted. And we got to a stage, I'd been hand drawing these things to very little avail. And then out of sheer frustration, I went digital. Just started going my own way. And I think I'd done 6 cards within 3 days. And then I found that I had sort of designs from unfinished projects that all of a sudden I realized that, they will form part of this. And the irony was, what I was creating was great, but my collaborative partner just did not feel that it was, it remotely resembled anything that she had originally envisaged. So we kind of just decided we'd go our separate ways. But by that stage, I think I had about 12 digital images, and I thought, I want to carry on with this. And she'd introduced me to the symbol of the mandala, which kind of had a very, absolutely, which the back of the cards, and which is featured on every one of the cards. And the concept behind it left a really powerful impression on me. So I decided that, there we go. It's on the back of the Healing Light Lenormand as well. So I decided that I would just carry on in that vein, using the mandala as the theme. And that's how the deck took shape. And I've got to be honest, I mean, it's, of all the things that I've done, it was a real labor of love. And I'd started, it would have been, I think about 2008, 2009, I'd started work on another tarot deck, just with the sort of idea of doing a traditional tarot deck. And again, it stalled. And I kind of feel that the Healing Light Tarot was that deck, but it was kind of, it just wasn't ready yet. And it took till 2015 to actually find the right form for it. And that's how it started. It started out, I was just going to call it the Mandala Tarot. And obviously Lo Scarabeo expressed an interest in it, and it went through several title changes. And then we finally settled on the Healing Light Tarot, which I think was that was not my idea, that was the publisher's idea, and yet I think it's probably the best title they could have given it.
I love the title.
It's funny when they said, how do you feel about this? Initially, I kind of thought, it's not what I wanted, but then I thought, this does sum up the whole feeling of the deck. And it was a good move on their part. But
so how did the Healing Light Lenormand come about?
That was, it was about a year after it had been published. The Healing Light Tarot had been published. And I'd already done one Lenormand, which had been published by Schiffer Books. And I wanted to sort of give it another go, but also with the kind of feeling of the healing, the feeling and style of the Healing Light Tarot. And again, when I approached Lo Scarabeo about it, they said yes. So that was, it was kind of a direct offshoot from the Healing Light Tarot.
I've always thought you should have a deck with your signature silhouette style called Healing in Darkness.
I like the sound of that.
You can have it.
Oh, you got me thinking.
Have that.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah,
make
you
sure.
got me thinking now. Mind you, the problem is I'm collecting deck projects. I'm working on 2 as it stands. So,
Ramon, you use the Healing Light Tarot. What is your view on it? How does it differ from other decks?
I mean, I like that it keeps the essence of the RWS, but it's a new interpretation. And I mean, just the images, it's so powerful because I feel the light through the images. They're so powerful that it does have an effect on on the reading. I feel that it transcends the paper and ink. You definitely feel the light and it helps in that process. And I connect a lot with it because like the title says, I feel some type of healing, especially when I'm using it for personal reasons. And I love pairing it with the Lenormand. They both go so perfectly. They're amazing. I mean, I'm telling you, those are my 2 favorite pairings, and I use it a lot. Actually, I was on a live last night, and I was using the Healing Light, and I've used it many times before.
It's really wonderful to hear, because it's strange, when you put your work out there, it kind of takes on a life of its own, and it's interesting hearing how other people respond to it and how it works for them, because that's just different to each individual person. I mean, for me, when I created this, it was about using silhouettes so that people that could then project their own personalities onto those shapes.
Exactly. That's the other thing I like, that it's silhouettes. So you really don't see gender most of the times. You don't see race. You don't see age. It's like the silhouette of us.
I like that you don't see emotion with the silhouettes.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see the emotion on the face of the character. That's something I really approve. Ken, you were a fan of Chris's, and that's how the Hekatean Path deck came about.
Yeah.
What was it about his style that got you?
At the time when I first came across the Healing Light Tarot, it was actually in a local metaphysical shop, and I just kept seeing it on the shelf in the tarot section, and I kept picking it up and looking at the box, and sort of, I don't know what it was about it initially that kept drawing my attention, but I just kept putting it back and going, I don't think that's actually the type of thing I like. And then I kept doing that for a good couple of weeks, and then one day I just was like, oh, for God's sake, it's staring at me on the shelf again. I'm just going to buy it. And I bought it, and I brought it home, and I was kind of looking through it, and I was going, okay, yeah, this is interesting. I mean, I don't tend to, whenever I get a deck, I don't tend to read the book much initially. I like to just go through the cards and just see what the sort of feel of everything is. And obviously I'll go to certain cards to see how they've been represented. So I'll always go and look at the 10 of Wands or the 10 of Swords or the Queen of Wands, or the Death card or the Tower card, something like that. And I just thought that there was just something about it that, similarly to what Ramon said and what Chris mentioned about the transcendent aspect of it, and the fact that there was more to it than just a 2-dimensional image. The layering and the texturing and the colors and the play of light and shadow, it kind of just breathed new life into the more well-known Rider-Waite-Smith images, but in a way that every time you would read with it, the cards would look or feel or project differently in a reading. I've had it where in past readings where I've had certain cards come out and they're either really vibrant or really dull, or just something on that particular card is drawn the focus for the reading. And it just so happened that I just started using it, and then I got drafted in last minute, kind of. That seems to be my thing, the last minute sort of drafty, just to do some local like spirit fairs before the pandemic, and they had a tarot reader drop out, and they said like, oh, does anybody want to step forward? And I didn't put myself forward. I kind of got shuttled into it. And I just so happened to have the deck with me. And I read non-stop for 6 hours. I didn't even get a chance to go for a break because they were just cycling people through like constantly. But the fact was that I was nailing it with this deck, and I was just like, this is amazing. This is literally showing everybody what they need to see and what they need to hear. And everybody was like really blown away, but they were also captivated by it, because when they were looking at the cards, they were really drawn into it. And it just so happened that the more I used it, the more I started to then get that little music inspiration that started to see my ideas in this particular style. And that was kind of what sort of led to the brainchild that became the child of the Hekatean Path. You know, because without the Healing Light Tarot, there probably wouldn't be an oracle of the Hekatean Path.
So
it's strange.
Rumor has it that you're working on a Hekatean tarot deck. Wow.
Yes.
There's a possibility, yeah.
Can you confirm or deny these scandalous
vicious rumors? These
vicious rumors. I'm feeling guilty now because Ken's way ahead of me. It's like, because he sent me like full detailed write-ups of virtually every card and like rough mock-ups, and it's like I haven't actually sort of sent him anything back yet, but it's actually really encouraging, because I didn't know, because I mean we talked about it, haven't we?
Well, to be honest, like the brainchild for that was forming at the close of the Oracle project. But I was like, no, we need to finish the Oracle project. And we didn't expect necessarily the pitfalls and the setbacks that life threw at us to get the Oracle to print. But, and I'd kind of shelved what I'd worked on during that time. And then obviously I pulled out some of it to which I then cobbled together hastily for my Tabby presentation. And then after I'd given my presentation, Chris kind of took me aside and was like, you do realize you've just pretty much written the guidebook for the major arcana of the tarot project, don't you? And I was like, oh yeah.
I'm sat there listening to this talk and thinking, God, he's done his homework. We're halfway there, you know. And then you started, Ken did some rough mock-ups, just of, you know, rough Photoshop mock-ups, didn't you, just of your ideas? And I mean, I was kind of worried initially, because I thought, well, he'd done such a thorough job with the Oracle, and it's 60 cards, you know, and I'm thinking, well, can we do a tarot deck and still do something original on top of that? But then once I started seeing his ideas, I'm thinking, okay.
I told you guys,
it's kind of blown my brains out, because I'm, you know, I mean, I've got to say, actually, working on the Oracle of the Hekatean Path was the single best collaborative project I've ever done. And then you're thinking, oh, top that. And then all of a sudden he starts sending his ideas for the tarot, and thinking, oh, we're going to have fun with this. You know, I'm really excited about it.
waiting patiently for that tarot deck.
I want to say something. We have to do justice to the Quantum Tarot as well. The Quantum Tarot is really similar. I don't know. It has. I feel that it's very similar to the Healing Light in a lot of ways, with with the lighting and its position within the readings, but it has a different tone. It's more scientific, which I love. You know, and the images are just breathtaking away. I mean,
I'm really thrilled you like that, because the Quantum is the brainchild of Kay Stopforth, and it's really special for me because it was my way into publishing. You've just shown my favorite card out the deck.
Oh, really?
I love that moon card. And when Kay described that to me, it was like, ooh. But what was so funny was, I mean, I'm really proud of that deck, but I'm proud of it for the opposite reason. I'm proud of the Oracle of the Hekatean Path, because Kay is brilliant and Kay is lovely, but we really struggled to work together, and we completely got each other's backs up. We'd irritate each other really badly the days we were working together. We'd end up arguing. We actually we coined the term quantum gits for each other, because it was, and one of the reasons we're proud of it is because, you know, I still count Kay as a friend to this day. She's fantastic, but we really struggled. I think temperamentally we're so different. We struggled to work together, and that's why I'm proud of it, because we actually saw it through, and I think we created something really special. But then Kay's concept was just a stroke of genius. I mean, when she approached me about it, I felt really honored that she'd approached me, because I didn't have anything in print at that stage. You know, she'd offered me the job on the basis of my first tarot deck, which was unpublished. She'd seen a handmade copy of it, and then when she started outlining the ideas behind the cards, and the fact she'd already done, it was a similar position to Ken and I, in that she'd already done an oracle deck called the Universe Cards, which was based on photos from the Hubble Space Telescope, and it was published by HarperCollins in the late 90s, I think. And then she kind of wanted to expand those ideas into a tarot deck. So it had a very similar genesis to the Oracle, you know, as it's similar story to mine and Ken's story now. And certainly the fact that we're moving on to a tarot deck. But yeah, it wasn't an easy project, but it's one we're both really proud of. And Kay is just, she had this knack of actually being able to take, you know, astronomy, physics, astrophysics, and make it accessible to tarot. You know, actually bring out the mysticism behind it as well. So yeah, it was a great project.
I love that deck because it's a blending of science and mysticism.
Yes, I love that you know, that contrast between one and the other, which I believe at one point in the past they were one. You know, but for a time, you know, it's man and, you know, control and a lot of different negative situations. Diverted.
It's only modern society that views sort of science and spirituality and mysticism as something separate from each other. And I think that's what I loved about Kay's concept. It kind of just fused it all back together. You know, I'd love to revisit the Quantum Tarot one day and do a version 3 if I ever got the chance, because one, I think Kay and I would get on much better now because we're older and less hormonal, which is, but also as well, it was kind of part of my learning curve with Photoshop. And I think one of the frustrations was that we would have ideas, but at the time I couldn't do them justice in a way that probably I would be able to now. But, you know, it stood the test of time, which I'm really proud of. You know, and
it aged well.
Yeah, and I love the fact, I mean, it's kind of a real thrill when, like, hearing you say, oh, I love this and I use it, because you think, here we are, like, you know, it was the first version was published in 2008. Kay and I started work on it in 2006, and yeah, here we are in 2024 and it's still out there. So it's kind of just
speaking
really
of decks that are still out there, Chris. I want to say two things. First, you guys, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in now. We're going to be taking questions. Please put some emojis on there so we can see it easier. And the second thing is, I cannot let this session go by without talking about the Sun Tarot. I love the Sun Tarot, and I was lucky enough to get a deck. I not only love, love the cards themselves, because they do focus on the male aspects of life. I like them because they're larger, but I really love the book that comes with it. I truly love that book. It's a wonderful.
Actually, it's a full book.
Yeah,
I think it was 45,000 words, if I remember rightly. So
it's a good book.
I got to go to town with this one. It's the one project where I got to write a full detailed guidebook. So yeah, and it's kind of this wasn't my coming out process, but this project was my self-acceptance process, believe it or not, which is a different story in itself. But creating this was kind of just one big act of healing for me. So it's very personal. But thankfully, I must have got something right, because every now and again I'll still get messages in my inbox from people who are using it and saying that they really appreciate it, that's really lovely, you know.
Your decks are amazing, and Ken, I can't wait until that tarot deck comes.
I'm just one of the luckiest people alive, because I get to indulge my passion as work, you know. I mean, that's kind of a bit mean, isn't it? You know, I just get to do what I want for a living, which is like wonderful.
You know what? That's the way I look at it. I love what I do for a living. I am a full-time tarot reader. I teach. It is the happiest I have ever been in my life, leaning into my spirituality. I love it. So we got our first question, you guys. Did someone say Shenanigans? I love that name. It's just awesome.
Great, that, isn't it? Yeah.
Before we start, Bobby, unfortunately I have to leave, but
yes, Ramon,
because when we set up the time, there was an issue with the time zone, so I thought it was going to be earlier, but unfortunately it didn't work out. But I'm looking forward to share with all of you again soon.
We have got to do this again, most definitely.
Yes, definitely, because you are among the pantheon of deck creators, my favorite ones, and
right.
Sharing this
you're going to get disappointed. I'm just some old slag from Liverpool. You know?
You're amazing. And you are too, Ken, and thank you for you both working on this beautiful deck. It's just amazing, and all your works.
But we've definitely got to do this again, because I want to chat your YouTube video course as well.
Yes, I'll invite you to my channel one day.
Yes,
both of you.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's definitely do it.
All right.
And vice versa.
Blessings to all.
Later, Ramon.
All right, Don.
Take
See
care.
you soon. Take care.
I dig on that dude so much.
He's awesome. Fabulous. He's really fabulous. Let me just put that.
It's just not right that he should be that spiritually aware and have all this going on. It's just not. It's just not right.
Some people have got it all, love. You know.
Right? All right, now let's jump into, did someone say Shenanigans? I'm struggling with PTSD, panic disorder, and I have no idea how to move forward. I've been writing a book of my life, but I don't know if I'm on the right path. Can you read for me?
Hell yes, we can read for you. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm like,
What better deck than the Healing Light deck?
Yeah. And do you know what? Where are we? I'm gonna use this. This was my hand printed pre-publication copy.
Ooh.
This is what it should have looked like, by the way. When Los Garabaos signed it, it was going to have borders, and then last minute they changed their mind. Oh, we've lost Ken. Where's he gone? He's back.
My bad.
They decided to go borderless, which actually I think was a great move. But I'm still very fond of this, because this is what I had for a year to read with before I got my courtesy copies. So yeah.
So you want to start?
I am going to pick out 3 cards: situation, challenge, and advice. How does that sound?
I like it.
As somebody who has spent a lifetime dealing with anxiety as well, I can partially empathize with this. And so you've come to the right reading room. I'm not saying we can solve it, but we can stand with you in solidarity. So
I love that.
Situation. I'm going to pick 4 cards because I'm going to pick an encouragement card as well. Situation, challenge, advice, and encouragement. Okay. Ooh. Right, situation. I've got the Page of Swords. So I'm kind of sensing here in a position of learning, but also in a position of vulnerability. And I also see this page as being, what's the word? Cautious is one way of putting it, but also fearful of opening up to people. There's a sort of element of mistrust about this guy. And I've put the mandala around his head because it's actually, he's in headspace and that's where the healing needs to be. And that was something quite personal for me when I was designing this, because my sort of anxieties and panics very often came from a place of over analyzing and a place of introspection. So this, I would say, sit with your vulnerability, but at the same time, take the risk to sort of open up to the people around you that you trust. If there is nobody around you that you trust, start to reach out and seek like-minded people. So that's where things are at. The challenge, interestingly, is the Two of Swords, which I see this as the denial and anxiety card, because I've kind of, this is one where you've not got a silhouette, but the hilts of the swords are kind of blocking her eyes. So there's a kind of part hint of denial here, but also a part hint of anxiety, an inability to see a way forward, difficulty in keeping things balanced. So again, also here, the mandala surrounds the white dove, and I wanted to put that little symbol of freedom in there, because for me, when she can shift those sword hilts, she'll actually be able to see more objectively, and then there will be this kind of sense of liberation and freedom. So the challenge again is one of, one of courage, daring to sort of step outside yourself and daring to connect. Maybe daring to look at the things that you're frightened to look at. Advice, Ace of Wands. So maybe a little bit of that fire energy, something a little less cautious, something a little bolder. An encouragement card. I love this. The Empress, you will blossom. In terms of, are you on the right path? I don't think we can answer that, but you can answer it from within yourself. And I would say, just do what you feel. And at the moment you're feeling to write your book, go for it. Be fruitful, be creative, and yeah, just blossom like the Empress, because it's all in there. So that's my reading. Who else has picked any?
Ben, you got any?
I picked some, which I think actually tie in quite nicely with Chris's. So the first card that I drew on this one was the Eight of Wands.
Ooh.
Now, although this can be seen as like quite positive sometimes, and it can be seen as things moving in the right direction, I can also see it as a card of anxiety, of a card of panic, because sometimes things feel like they're moving too quickly and that we don't have control or direction over it. And then the next one that I pulled out was the Five of Pentacles. But interestingly, this kind of made me think about how you are wanting to write about your life, and there will be hardships that you will have to maybe relive in order to sort of write them truthfully and to process through them yourself. But when it came to the last card, I got the 9 of Wands. And so there's a great sense of triumph, of achievement, of resilience, of the strength to be able to endure, what life throws at you. And I think the fact that I've got 2 Wands and Chris had the Ace.
Yeah.
It is about following your passions, following those things that stir you. And if it means, writing a book about your life, then, go for it.
Absolutely.
Uh,
What did you get?
Well, I am struggling with one of the cards I drew, and maybe Chris, you can help me with that.
What did you draw?
Well, for the first card situation, I drew the Chariot. Now, when the Chariot comes along, a lot of people talk about advancement. I lean into the control of emotion aspect.
Yeah.
It is ruled by Cancer. It seems to me that the PTSD is really screwing with you. And that is... I want to ask something, but I don't want to put you on blast. Have you had to... Has your emotions forced you to be hospitalized in any way? Because the next card I drew was the Tower from
the Lenormand.
And to me, this says organized medical help. In the past, okay, yes, all right, good. Then, well, not good, but at least I know I'm on the right path. Fear is overwhelming. I mean, I'm getting choked talking with you right now about the emotions. I've been struggling with doctors all year. I'm sorry you're going through this. It's a terrible situation to have to go through. I understand the feeling of not feeling secure and being lost. Hey, Heather, how you doing? But that's in the past, and currently you've been focused on controlling your emotions. Yes, you've had to deal medically with the situation. But the next card I drew up for advice is New Moon from the Oracle of the Hekatean Path deck. This is new beginnings for you. Things are going to start turning around. You're going to be able to get your shit under control. Don't worry, okay? Don't panic. All right? Just breathe. You got this, all right? It's painful, especially you were saying that you were writing, what was it? Writing a book of your life. That is devastating when you look back, because you start playing games with yourself. That's the danger. Don't do that, love. Be gentle with yourself is all I'm saying, okay? All right. Nettie P. Could I have you, please?
Marion's just popped in. Hi, darling.
Have you got the wax off the wall yet?
I don't even want to know what that means.
She posted on Instagram that she blew a candle out rather than snuff it, and she's ended up putting wax all up the wall. So she was asking me if anybody knew tricks to get it off the wall. And I said, given the amount of wax splatter, I was like, what did you blow it out with? A sneeze? We went everywhere.
Okay, Nettie is asking for just a general reading, I guess.
Okay.
Who wants to start? Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle.
I'm just putting my cards
This was my
back
first
on.
time using the Lenormand deck,
Is it?
and I'm very excited. Yes. I don't do well with card combinations, but on single card draws, I'm the bomb.
Oh.
Nettie's first card.
Right, I think I'm going to pull the same 4 cards again for Nettie. Situation. Challenge.
Marion's just chimed in. She's not tried.
Not tried. It was a very unfortunate colour of wax.
Yes, it was kind of like orange.
Oh, thank God for that, because she's put like she's put the turd emoji. So I'm thinking
maybe it was brown. I thought it was orange.
She had brown wax all down their walls.
Maybe it was brown. It looked orange to me, but it could have just been the light. Right. Well, I've got my 3 for Nettie. So the first card I've pulled is the 3 of Pentacles. So obviously, this is often seen as the card that requires, working to a plan or working with a team or working with others, but usually in quite a smooth and not necessarily a sort of confrontational way. It's usually quite practical and business-like. But it's also seen as the card of the architect, which is, similarly to how Chris has depicted it. So this can be about, the designs of the life that you build for yourself. And the next card that came out was the Temperance card, which is that transmutable alchemical principle of how you manifest, your desires. What practical life things do you have to do to bring about the things that you desire? And the Temperance card kind of bridges the gap between the wish or the feeling or the dream and the reality of the physicalness of it. And then weirdly, in the similar way that I did for the previous reading, where it was a card bridge between 2 from the same suit, I've got the same thing again. And so the next card was the 6 of Pentacles. And obviously, I always see this as a card not strictly just about the sort of the sharing, the charity, the sort of balancing aspect of it, but I always see it as having a link to what you need. So don't spread yourself too thinly. There in life, we all know that there are chronic givers and chronic takers, and unfortunately the takers always take and the givers tend to always give, and sometimes you have to sort of draw that back in and actually hold your resources to yourself, because if you want to manifest the plans you're orchestrating, you need to focus the resources on yourself and not spread it too thinly. So that's what I think.
Robert, do you want to go next?
I do.
Go for it.
I drew for the middle card, the Tower again, after all that shuffling. So I want to point something out before I go on to everybody else. The last reading I did for did someone say Shenanigans? You saw me struggling to not say certain things. Tarot readings can be very personal, and we as readers have to decide exactly how much we're going to share in public, and that is why sometimes we
struggle.
There's people watching, and I don't want to put people on blast where they don't need it. The first card I drew is Liana, the lioness, for strength. Okay, but it came out upside down. which means you're not believing in yourself right now. The Tower is the middle card again. This says to me that reality is tough for you. Uh-oh. Hold on. There you are. I hit a button and another screen popped up.
You're still here.
It says to me reality is beating you down right now. You're stuck in the physical world. There's very little room for creativity right now with you. I think you need to make more time for yourself, because the last card up, and I blame you for this, it's the Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo card.
Yeah.
We have the Seven of Cups. He calls it the Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo card, and ever since I heard him say that, I can't get it out of my head. This says choices are going to be open to you. You're at a point that's called a nexus. Things are changing for you right now. The direction you choose to go in is going to be significant. I had to pull a couple clarifier cards for this, you guys. In both cards, we've got the Four of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. So this tells me...
So yeah, you've got more pentacles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very much a physical reading.
Yeah, things in your physical realm are going to improve. You're going to be in a situation. The Four of Pentacles is called the Miser card. This is just holding on to what you have and being happy about it. So I don't think there's anything more on that I could tell you. The Ace of Pentacles says you're going to be starting a new path, new health, new money, new physical things. I feel like it's empty there. Are you coming from a place right now where there's been some struggle with the people around you? Because the Five of Swords came up as the last clarifier. And that's a card of... Some people say it's a bad card. I don't think it's a bad card. It depends on which side you're on. If you're the guy holding the swords, you're in a good position. If you're one of the two people walking away, you're not in such a good position. But I get the feeling you're going to be in the one holding all the swords. You are the one who will have opportunities opening up to you. So I'm going to let that lay for now.
That's interesting.
Tower keeps popping up.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. When
because my cards are quite different, but they very much complement yours. So, because my first card that I picked was the Ten of Swords, and as soon as Robert said, you know, you're at a turning point, that's kind of what I felt when I drew this. I feel as if you've turned a corner with this. And not necessarily a particularly easy corner. But I then drew the Hangman, which says to me, you've turned a corner, but it kind of feels like everything's been turned on its head, which feels disconcerting. And also I sense there's a feeling of being out of control here and feeling vulnerable. But I also picked the Sun card, which says to me, just kind of go with the flow with this and kind of reach for the sun. You know, this may feel incredibly disorientating and also, you know, very disruptive, and it might feel as if so many things in your life are being upended, but hold on to this positivity. The reason I say that is because my clarifier that I picked is the five of wands. And yeah, this is the strife card to me, but I always see this as constructive strife. These are struggles that I think we grow through. So, you know, this kind of may feel like a bit of a turbulent, disorientating ride at the moment, but cling to this and cling to this. Yeah, these are not easy circumstances, but there's a lot of potential here. And, you know, a lot of potential to sort of step out of this, come out the other side with a lot of positive gain.
Okay. A lot of new opportunities showing up.
Yeah.
So, Maleficent, I have a question. You posted on here, you've been single for 3 years now. All my relationships in the past were unsuccessful. I can't figure out where the problem is. Am I doing something wrong? I am a woman of 35 years old. I doubt you're doing anything wrong.
Hell no.
But
it's random, girl. It's you know, I've just sharing a little bit of personal experience. I'm now in a relationship for the first time in years.
yeah.
And I'm happy, but it was completely random, you know. And I finally realized, no, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I just hadn't met the right person. But yeah, but we can pull some cards on that anyway.
Okay. Nettie says, thank you. I really needed this reading. You guys are awesome.
Oh,
And hi, Osiris. How you going? Heather said she's have a great rest of your day, gentlemen.
oh, Marion, it's Tuesday, Mars Day. Mars rules the tower astrologically.
There you go.
This
All
is
right.
why This is why I love having this woman in the room. She's my astrological goddess and guru. She really is. She knows her stuff.
Actually, I need to ask Marion at a later date about my my placement of the asteroid Hecate in my natal chart.
Now that would be interesting.
Because I found out where she was. I just don't know what it means.
Marion, do you think you would consider coming on my channel and talking about astrology?
Oh, hell, you've got to have that woman on your channel. She's fantastic.
I would love to put her on and take her down the fool's journey. That'd be fun. All right, so Maleficent. I'll start off. The first card I'm picking for you is Kerberos, Obstacles, Cerebus, the big scary dog. This falls in your situation if we're going by Chris's 3-card spread. You're struggling right now. It seems like there's some unsurmountable odds in your way. I want you to know that those odds can be overcome. Yes, things are fuckered up, as I like to say. But some things can't be avoided. They have to be lived. So whatever challenges you're facing right now, know that they have to be faced. Okay. The next card up we have is the 2 of Wands upside down. Plans that you're making need to be reevaluated. Okay. Things may not be going in the area you wanted them to go. Your last card is the Woman. It seems like your problems center around a certain individual. Is there somebody standing in your way or giving you problems that is causing you, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say pissing you off. Know that whatever plans you're making, this woman is not interested. I don't know if that resonates with you, but I'm going to leave that there. I'm not going to doubt what I said. Who's next?
Should I pull next? Oh, go on, Ken.
I've got mine here anyway, so
Go for it.
Again, I've done it's happened again. I've pulled 2 of the same suit and another card.
Ooh.
We're sticking with wands with this one. So the first one that came out again was the 8 of Wands. But you mentioned that you've been in past relationships, and passions come and passions go. They don't necessarily last indefinitely. And then interestingly, we had this 10 of Wands. And I think that this is kind of telling me that the focus needs to change from this almost this sort of score sheet of, oh, well, that was a failure, and 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 getting bogged down in those unsuccessful relationships. Because as we already mentioned, it is a lottery, it is random. The chances of finding the one who happens to be in your vicinity is kind of quite non-existent. But actually, when we look at the Judgment card that came out finally, I feel that this is, you don't need to judge yourself so harshly, and don't think about what other people might judge or think, or, think whether you were in a relationship or out of a relationship. It is about, first and foremost, love yourself. Look after yourself, invest in yourself, because as Chris is probably likely to attest, when you're not looking for it, it tends to fall in your lap. So, do the groundwork, look after yourself, invest in yourself, feel good about yourself, and it will attract the right people.
I have a question. Chris, since this is your deck and you know Lenormand better than I do, and you've tried to teach it to me, could this symbolize her disinterest? Not.
Yeah, because if I'm reading for a woman with the Lenormand deck, if the woman card comes out, then I will take that to signify her in the reading. If the man card comes out, I'll take that to represent a partner or love interest. So it could, it depends. I mean, I would say go with your intuition. That's kind of how I interpret it. But, it's sometimes, it can be a reflection of yourself, but then again, it can also be the competition. It can be another woman. It can be a number of things. I would say go with your gut instincts with that one.
Yeah. After I passed it over to you guys, I was thinking, could this be her? And
to be
I
honest,
just realized
when you held it up the first time, I was like, oh yeah, it's her, because that's when I started to see the Judgment card about, because you'd said about the disinterest, and I was like, maybe it's a lot of internalized and sort of self-targeting, where actually, just be happy, just be, forget about the tropes and the importance of, I should be in a relationship, or I should be pretty, or I should be successful. Forget all of those things. Happiness first, and just focus on yourself.
My cards are complementary in that respect, because my first card that I drew was the 4 of Wands, the completion card, and that just immediately said to me, "You're complete, girl. You're just fine." just as you are. Now, the key to this is not, can I try any harder to attract someone? I mean, the lesson I've learned, I spent years trying to find the right guy. And I mean, anyone who knows me will know that I've attracted some fuckwits in my time. And my success rate is really naff, you know? And I kind of, my circumstances have changed over the last 2 years. I mean, I sadly lost my dad last year. I'm now full-time carer for my mum. So combination of life circumstances where it's not easy to be running a relationship, plus I have really crap discernment, had kind of led me to believe that the best way forward for me was the sort of chaste life of a mother superior. So having actually decided that I was going to be singing Climb Every Mountain for the rest of my life and wearing the habit and sort of, you know, living the life of the Holy Virgin, just when I least expected it, the man of my dreams turned up in May. But actually, he taught me this, because I finally realized that actually in his eyes, you know, I see myself as just this mad, slightly OCD, can't keep my mouth shut, eccentric artist who normally sort of drops F-bombs in the most inappropriate parts of the conversations and embarrasses himself in a lot of places. And then all of a sudden, here's this wonderful guy who just wants me with the F-bombs, with the non-habit, you know, with all of the faults and eccentricities. And for you, that's exactly the same. You are fine, just as you are. Now, that's not a guarantee of success, because I'm realizing more and more the success is random. You know, believe me, I really have found the man of my dreams. The 4 or 5 before him were just total dickheads. And, you know, I kind of really didn't sort of, you know, didn't make the right choices.
Chris,
oh, what's that?
You need to redo those videos for the Healing Light Tarot. Okay, I'm just saying.
What? Healing Light Unplugged.
Healing Light Unplugged. You need to redo them, and you guys don't know, but Chris understands what that means.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Continue, please.
So, card number 2. Your challenge is, to me, is embracing the juggle and dance of life. And what this is saying to me for you is just go with the flow. You know, I see the pentacles. I mean, one of the things I did differently here is, I love on the Waitsmith, you've got the pentacles linked with a lemniscate, so which kind of shows that it's a dance of infinity. Whereas here, I wanted them linked by the mandala, because I very often see these pentacles as representing the way our relationships overlap in life. Now, this could be friendships, it could be family relationships, it could be romantic relationships, but I kind of see the pentacles as representing individuals, and we're kind of in the hands of the juggler, and we kind of overlap with each other, then we separate, we may overlap, we may link, we may bond, but go with the flow. That's what that says. The advice card, again, I tie it in with this because I've drawn the King of Cups, which I see him as an emblem of emotional maturity. He's, to me, elementally, he's a clash of fire and water. So it's the ability to balance those two and remain, you know, emotionally stable. But again, as an encouragement, that says you can be that person. You know, you don't have to hit yourself over the head and thinking, what am I doing wrong? Am I inadequate? You're just fine. So, and then as an encouragement card, the Ace of Swords, the victory card. You can be victorious, you can be fulfilled, you can be you, whether you're in a relationship or not. And that's the key thing. And take that from a Trappist nun who kind of wasn't expecting to be in a relationship, but
awesome. Okay.
Hopefully
So,
that's Marion's putting lots of laughing symbols on. It's probably the apparition in her head of me and nun's habit. That's
Let's go with. Are you guys okay for another half hour or so?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Let's go with Mary. Mary, are you still here? I'm hoping you are. Okay. Maleficent says thank you. I love your name and your logo, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
999 ASMR Tarot's just said, I do full-time caregiving for my mother too. Thumbs up. And here's the caregivers.
wearing on you. And
Yeah.
I
My
think
mum, bless her, is very tolerant because apart from anything else, I normally have to get her to bed at 9 o'clock, and she's come to bed early so that I could do this live.
Oh,
So
when the very first card I ever pulled for you, Chris, when I met you last year, was the 10 of Wands. I remember.
Oh yeah.
And that kind of opened up a lot of doors for me. That first conversation with you, it made me understand that this deck better, and that card in particular, because the image you have of the 10 of Wands is a bug on the back instead of and I love that. It's just awesome. So let's go. Oh, sorry.
just to, before I go any further, just to give a real shout out to the guy that inspired that card. That's inspired by this amazing, really amazing surrealist digital artist called Igor Morsky. So if you're interested, Google his website, and because I found this incredible artwork he did, very photorealistic, with this old man with this giant bug on his back. And the minute I saw it, it just, you know, when something really hits you, and that's what inspired me. I thought I want to do that in silhouette because it just wants to me.
Picture made me look at the card differently, because it's not just carrying everything, it's being overloaded with everything.
And that's what struck me when I saw the original image that inspired me, because he's bound to the bug, you know, and sometimes, you know, you can kind of throw off those burdens. I mean, I like to think that, you know, if he stood up, he could kind of cast that off. But I wanted to sort of pick, you know, one of the reasons I kind of picked this and kind of paid homage to that Igor Morsky image was the fact that it just really showed the full horror of some of the burdens that we can carry, you know, and, you know, how they do bend us over double, you know.
I'll tell you what freaked me out about that card with the bug on the back is I don't like bugs. I think they bite and they can eat you and get you down and strip your body of flesh. So when I see that card, to me, it says it's like the strength card. It could attack you. So you have to be careful with the load you're carrying.
Yes. Yeah.
But I get weird when it comes to
just bear with me. I think I'm going to swap decks.
Okay.
Because I just want to use my standard copy that you're using as well. There we go.
Mary. Let's see. The first card I'm going to draw for you, my dear.
Are we reading for Mary?
Yes.
Fabulous.
Is Pharmakia. Knowledge. Studying. What are you studying right now, love? Whatever your course of study, please continue with it. It's going to enrich your life. If you're thinking about studying something, break down and do it. All right. Chris said earlier about grabbing life. It's time to do that, my love. The next card is the Eight of Pentacles. That's the card of mastery. With the Pharmakia card, knowledge and mastery. The third card is the Woman. And I'm shuffling these up. Yes, I'm shuffling these up very well. So, but now I know that this woman is most likely you. So your focus is turn light to travel and stay in campgrounds.
Did you just say you've got the Eight of Pentacles?
I did.
So have I.
Mary, are you studying or in school? Or what's going on, dear? She likes to travel. That could definitely be part of the pentacle realm, the earthly realm.
I've got a travel card as well in this. Interesting.
I'm interested, Mary. Are you studying something right now? Let's give her a chance to answer.
I'd like to travel.
I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to pass it to you, Chris, since you've got your cards pulled.
Oh, okay. So, situation card. I drew the devil. So I think we're dealing with some fears and insecurities. My devil card is slightly different here in that you can see this guy is absolutely tormented and he's got two demons blasting trumpets in his ears and he's desperately trying to shut out the noise, and the devil's standing behind them. And this, to me, this can be about how we get bound up in sort of our fears becoming the big bogies that we won't turn around and stand up to. So that kind of, for Mary, I'm kind of saying, what are you frightened to face? You know,
She's studying tarot right now.
challenge, Eight of Pentacles. So, I mean, this for me, this is the card of application, but it's also the card of putting your skills to fruitful use. Now, I'm kind of wondering whether you're kind of having a crisis of confidence here. You know, this devil card tied to this card of application and mastery. So maybe your challenge is to step into your confidence here. Advice. Oh, I love this. Queen of Swords. You're stuck in the dark night of the soul right now. Now, you need some of her attitude. What I love about this as an advice card with the Queen of Swords, she calls it out, she names it, and she swipes the sword. You know, she does not take any prisoners. So, dark night of the soul. Hang on. There we go. Whatever you're feeling insecure about, take the courage to turn around and face it, because the trumpet blasts will not seem quite so loud when you do. You've got the capability and the ability. It's a case of finding your direction. Use a bit of hard-nosed attitudes from the Queen of Swords. You know, I love this woman. You know, she's fearsome, but she's strong. And I love the truthfulness of the Queen of Swords. She'll call stuff out. So I would say, as an advice card, be brave, you know, or be as brave as you can. Encouragement card. Three of Wands. This is an incomplete journey. You've started this journey, but it's yet to bear fruit. Give yourself space. You know, your ships have set sail. You're waiting for them to come back loaded. So this is a process, and it's a process. You do not have to sort of find your answers and find your solutions straight away. Just go with the flow of this. Hopefully that helps.
So before I hand it over to Ken, are you studying tarot with the hopes of doing it professionally? Because if that's the case, that's what I'm seeing here. Studying pharmakia, I always associate with esoteric knowledge. I think that you're on the right path. Ken, what you got, my friend?
I've got some interesting cards that kind of dip in and out of what you and Chris have said. The first card that I picked out was the Justice card. Now, as you guys were talking, and obviously Mary was kind of chiming in with a little bit of extra detail, I kind of got this sense of the trappings of society, the binding laws and rules and expectations, and the things that are expected of us, that we then somehow feel bound by, because that is just the way things are. And then interestingly, the next card that we got was the Five of Pentacles. Now, you mentioned in one of the early comments about sort of like wanting to travel and sort of go light, and sort of almost like you wanted to leave a lot of things behind and just go traveling and things like that. And I kind of started to see that, but then also started to see, I suppose, that the anxieties behind taking a chance or taking a risk, and the fact, of what you may either be perceived by other people, or things like that. But then similarly to the way that Chris pulled the Queen of Swords as far as a card of like direct action, I got the Magician. So we're kind of building on that sense of, you've taken the sword. Well, now you can, everything that you need, everything that you have at your disposal, as far as your own skill set, is everything that you need. And it's just a case of putting faith in that ability to enact your desires, and who is anybody, who are other people to sort of tell you no. The Magician just does it. And I think that that's kind of what you need to do, is just trust in your own ability to make the right choice when the time comes.
In the Healing Light deck, that is my favorite card, the Magician. It is. That is my favorite card. I love that.
He is cool.
I totally dig. Okay, Mary says she's not studying professionally. I think you could. I think that this is something you would be good at. So let's go on. Audra, may I have a general reading about my new endeavor? I have ideas about starting.
Okay.
New possibilities. I think everyone should study tarot, actually. That's really unfair of me to say, Mary. I think tarot is a tool for self-enlightenment. And if you can make a couple bucks on the road, well, more power.
Self-enlightenment and healing. I learned to accept myself through designing a tarot deck, believe it or not.
I believe it.
When I started designing the Sun Tarot, I was kind of very unsure of myself, had big self-image issues, and I actually found out just how therapeutic the tarot could be, because it was in designing the images I unwittingly worked through my own self-acceptance issues and came out with a side a much stronger person.
I find it difficult to believe that you have self-image issues. You're pretty cool.
Well, you wouldn't have recognized me in the early 2000s. I was kind of, oh yeah, you wouldn't have done. I had lots of hair back then as well, which was another reason that you wouldn't recognize me. But no, I learned to accept myself through these. They taught me how, So, and I mean, like you, I just say anyone should learn tarot, because you actually might find, there's a lot of healing in here as well as a lot of enlightenment.
It truly is. All right. Ken, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I've picked out quite a selection of punchy cards. They're all major arcana. And so we're starting off with the sun. So obviously, you're wanting to start this new endeavor, and it seems as though that is the right option. It's a positive step forward, and I think that actually the next card speaks more volumes to sort of with it being the hermit. Maybe you're not used to being in that position of being the sun and shining bright and sort of being out there, and maybe the hermit is a bit more your default, but actually it's about sort of embracing both, still taking the time to retreat when you need to, but also not shying away from the sun and the positive notions of it. Because when we finish on the third card of the lovers, it's this union of what you're trying to start out on this endeavor. It's going to be a fruitful, rewarding, emotional, but in a positive kind of way. There is going to be a reward from starting this endeavor, as long as you, where's the bloody cards gone? As long as you don't fall into the trappings of necessarily sort of being too reclusive. It is literally going to be, well, it's going to revolve around the sun, like we all do, but I see them, the three of those cards, very positively in a sort of almost like a thumbs up to your whichever this endeavor is, just to I think there's good things ahead with it.
Awesome. Chris, you're up, my friend.
Okay. Well, I've got situation. I've got the Wheel of Fortune. So, which Marion, Tarot provided the funds for high-end skincare and designer makeup in high school and beyond. Go girl.
See?
Anyway, that aside, returning to this, as far as your endeavor is concerned, go with the swing of the wheel. Your challenge, again, this is the second time this has turned up. Strife. This process may not be easy. There's going to be obstacles thrown in your path, but use them as strengthening exercises. These are potentially constructive challenges, constructive obstacles. Advice: connect. I just feel in this instance that the Ace of Cups is an invitation to connect. Whatever this endeavor is, it's also about reaching out and connecting and forging bonds. Your encouragement card, the King of Wands, that to me shows you in a place of authority and maturity in whatever you're looking to build. So again, as an encouragement, that kind of says, you've got this, you've got the process. And, if this is who you want to be and where you want to end up, you've got that capability. That's where the wheel's swinging,
Awesome. Okay. So, my turn. The first card I drew for you is Hierosphere, the Sacred Fire, Unity. Okay, when this card pops up for me, I get excited. This is the fire of life. This is community. This is getting together with my friends. This is getting together with my friends for a goal. It's usually my coven. I love this card because it's inner strength, inner fire. It's from during my devotion work, I view it as inner fire from the goddess, but go with inner fire. The next card up is the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is a card of wondering if you've waited too long. Has the opportunity passed you by? Is the timing right? So many questions. You're overthinking everything. I may need your help with this one, Chris. The lily. Now, I know the lily is maturity, wisdom. Okay, so use your best judgment. All right, you're not a child. You have that voice in the back of your head that's telling you things. Listen to it. Don't listen to the screamy, doubtful voices. Listen to that one, that fire of strength that's in you. Okay, go with that.
That lily as well, if it represents purity, it can also represent clarity. You know, so again, it's purity, but it can be clarity of thought process, clarity of intention, you know, and also the maturity to make informed choices and stable choices. It's got wisdom attached to it.
Wisdom is the key word that I'm getting from the Seven of Pentacles and the lilies together.
Mm-hmm.
You've got mature wisdom. You've got experience backing you. Don't be afraid of the future. I think, you guys, we're going to do one more.
Okay.
And then we'll call it. This is Osiris. Hi, Osiris. How you doing? Can I please have a reading too? My English is not good, but I'm trying. Don't worry, baby. Mine isn't either. Hey, Gerald's here.
Gerald's here. Yeah.
I didn't see that. What up, homie? Okay. So, Ken, do you want to start off for Osiris?
Yeah, just 1 second. I have a cat on an altar. I need to ensure that things are not going to get knocked off.
You know what? I feel that because I'm terrified my cats are going to knock over my candles on my altar.
Earlier this year, one of my cats, the eldest one, Merlin, jumped up on the altar while there was a lit candle and literally stood over it while his fur was singeing. It fucking stank. It was horrible.
Oh,
he was fine. He was oblivious to the bloody thing, but yeah, it was this terror here, little Lady Luna, climbing where she's not supposed to.
She's gorgeous.
So, yeah, unfortunately, she knows it.
I'm going to switch to the Oracle of the Hekatean Path, I think.
See, I'm stuck with the Healing Light because I didn't bring any others to the table. But
that's fine.
I'm doing all three.
So we're going to start with the Nine of Cups, which is quite a nice, buoyant energy to it. It has this nice sort of. I don't like the word sort of wish fulfillment, but it kind of gives that sort of quality to it. There's definitely a sense of freedom on an emotional level where you can, if you can trust the feeling and can trust the information, that you can trust yourself to experience the emotions, and then that will come with a sort of very fertile, nourishing, almost maternal energy that you might want to sort of dwell in a bit too long. It's nice, it's comfortable, it's secure, but actually it's only a short-term thing, and eventually, like when we grow up and we fly the nest, we have to sort of set out on our own, and not sort of rely on those sort of safe, warm, sort of protective spaces so much. And then we got the Two of Wands, and I definitely see that this is a card that will help you to manifest, because it's about bringing any disparate or opposing energies back to the center, back to the central line where the mandalas meet, to find that polarity, to enact on your passions, and to actually energize yourself as you move forward, because you are potentially standing on the world. You have the world at your feet. There's always options. There are always these avenues that you can follow, but don't sort of spend too much time sort of disparately debating. Just bring everything that you have at your disposal together passionately and actively, and it will work.
All right. Thank you. And to answer your guys' question, no, Ramon isn't here. Hold on. There we go.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. It was supposed to be a simulcast, but there was a timing issue, so Ramon had to dip out. Everybody loves Ramon. Oh my gosh.
Everybody loves Ramon.
Everybody loves Ramon. He's such an awesome guy. All right, Mr. Butler.
Right. Now, I've drawn from the Oracle of the Hekatean Path. Now, the interesting thing is, my first card and my last card are about protection. So the situation card, I've drawn Proper Liar, the one before the gate, which is the card of the Guardian. Now, as my encouragement card at the end of the reading, I've drawn the Holy Daemon of the Lower Realm, which is the protection symbol. So these will make sense when I show you the other two cards. The first thing that came to me here was find your safe places, find your safe people, because your challenge, I've drawn the Barbara Fora, the Eater of Filth, and this is the cleansing card. Now, this says to me, when I say find your safe people, find your safe spaces, find the places where it's safe for you to open up and face your own inner turmoil and demons at the moment. Because the advice card, ironically, is the exact opposite. It's Satyr of the Savior card, and this is the card of salvation. So we've got this challenge, which is all of this darkness and stuff within yourself that you maybe don't want to face. But the advice card is kind of almost showing a purification in facing that stuff. And this is exactly what she is about. It's Barbara Fora takes this aspect of the goddess, takes all the darkness, all the filth, and ingests it and burns it away, and to me, there's a progression leading from her to her, with all of this purity and light and encouragement. And again, the encouragement card is the protection card. So what's coming over to me from this reading for you is actually whatever it is you need to face, there are safe spaces and safe people that will help you to face it. But at the moment, that's where you've got to be. You've got to find these spaces. You've got to find your guardians, So hopefully that helps. Robert, what about you?
So, first card I drew.
Joking. Wow.
So That's why I'm over here going.
Okay.
Everything in this reading points to you taking action, you having the upper hand right now to proceed in the path that you want. And I say that because the next card I drew is the Magician, my favorite card of this deck. I mean, look at that. It's gorgeous. I when I got this deck, I just sat there staring at every aspect of this card. I love it.
You know, that card was an accident.
Really?
Because that's not what I planned to do. And of course, what I planned to do didn't work. And then I just ended up improvising for 3 hours on the computer. And then all of a sudden, it was just like, it was there. And it was the other thing that I kind of realized about after 3 or 4 abortive hours, that my inspiration should be coming from the Thoth card. So I loved that other alternate Thoth image with the Magician with all the arms.
Yeah.
And that's what he ended up getting based on. So, but he was an accident. He was a channeled accident. So I'm glad you like him, because he almost didn't happen like that.
Oh, I love it. Look at this, you guys. It's Budamus, as we say. You have the challenge for you is decision, just deciding to do something, believing in yourself. Don't ever listen to people, right? That people suck. Go with your plans, make your own plans. Don't go with the group. You are protected. We see that with this card. We see this card for manifestation and willpower. An aspect that is coming up here for me, though, is communication. There may be some communication that needs to happen in order for things to progress for you, because I see the messenger, the writer. Okay. So these two cards together, they're both ones, they're both beginnings, and they're both communication. Okay, so please take that into account. You need to be willing to work with the world around you. Open up. I'm not exactly sure why I'm saying that, but
that rider card is very often somebody bearing a message to you as well, which might help. You know, so I think whenever that appears, it's a case of be open. You know, be open to receive, be open to communication.
I love this card. I really do. I love all your cards. So in conclusion, what I have to say on that is be conscious of communications, because they're going to be very important to you. Okay. I have nothing else on that. We are at an hour and 40 in, and I'm going to go ahead and call it, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, Ramon, for this is being broadcast on his channel. He was supposed to be here. So I feel like I'm hijacking him a little bit. But I want to thank you guys.
It's been a pleasure. And hopefully we'll do this again at some stage.
Absolutely. I love reading with you. So if any issues, where did that come from? I don't know. You ever get that feeling that something's left undone?
Sometimes.
All the time.
I have that feeling like something, I'm missing something. I'm sure I'll beat myself up over it later, but for now, we're just going to go ahead and call it. I love you guys. Yeah, Ramon's getting the watch time. Very good point. Yeah. So that's cool. All right, you guys. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the next video, okay?
Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.